CLA 250, and it has a lovely green color. It's got the standard CLA wheels that come with the car unless you ask for different wheels. Beautiful car. I always loved the CLA. I like it more than the BMW 4, the two-door 4. I like it way more than the BMW two-door 4. And they're selling this one used. It's a 2014. They're selling it used, and I have two friends who are currently in the market for a car, so I'm kind of making this video for them so that they can consider whether they want to buy this or whether they want to buy a Chrysler 200 or whether they want to buy like something similar in price, something under $30,000. Now this is used. Usually I recommend people buy new just so they have all the full warranty protections, but this car is actually a pretty good deal, and I like it, and it still has its Mercedes warranty, so as far as I'm concerned, it's still worth owning. People can hate on the Mercedes CLA all they want. They can say, oh, well, it's front-wheel drive, and oh, well, it's not an enthusiast car, and oh, it's got no manual, and oh, it's got poor wheels, and it's got poor quality, and it's too cheap, and people can afford it. But guess what? The sales of this car alone don't give a fuck what you got to say. They don't care if you're a driving enthusiast. They don't care if you write car reviews. Basically, people who line up to buy themselves a CLA, whether it's 4MATIC or not, they don't give a damn. As far as they're concerned, they're driving a Mercedes. They don't care about driving quality. Most of these people are in the city and they're stuck in traffic all day. They don't care about they're not driving through canyons, and they're not driving through canyon roads and whatnot. It's like, I don't even understand why people bring up these arguments. Whether you're driving, if you call yourself a driving enthusiast, that's fantastic. Really, nobody cares about all that. What they want is they want a good car that allows them to feel good about themselves when they're driving through the city. I have been thoroughly impressed with the CLA. I mean, for the price of one of these things, I mean, with the navigation system, you're talking about close to $40,000. So you figure about $38,000, give or take a couple thousand. The leather, or I shouldn't say leather, this is Mercedes-Benz textile. As far as I'm concerned, it looks really good and it holds up. That's what a car needs to be. It needs to look good and it needs to hold up. Now, I mean, yeah, you can make criticisms that, it's not a rear-wheel drive Mercedes and it doesn't offer the manual yet, or you can make the argument that the command system isn't that great. You can make those arguments. I won't tell you can't make those arguments. Me personally, I'm disappointed that Mercedes, for pretty much all their new cars but the S-Class, I'm disappointed that for the E-Class 2009 and all the ones after that they adopted the S500's control layout. I mean, seriously, I really preferred the Mercedes layout where it put the buttons for the phone right here, because this way you didn't really have to pick up your hand and go over here and look down, which is what we don't want to be doing when we're on the road. You wouldn't have had to do all that if they'd had the buttons right here. It would have been easier and it'd been more intuitive to just touch them right here like the S550 had. I never liked the S500s or the W220. I never liked their center stack. So that's a cosmetic disappointment. But other than that, I mean, yeah, you can criticize the layout of the interior trim. But me personally, this is exactly what I'd want a car to be if I was like a woman and I was buying a inexpensive car. Because my car costs way more. My cars cost way more than this car. This car tops out at about $40,000 unless you're buying the AMG version. And even the AMG version doesn't really cost that much. If you don't need the rear seat space of a C-Class, then there's nothing wrong with this car at all. And although I sat in the back, I did a review, my headroom wasn't that great. This car doesn't have the moonroof, but my headroom wasn't really that great. If I needed a small car as a daily driver and I wanted something relatively luxurious, this would be something I would definitely consider. And it's got nice computer system with the command. Yeah, it makes it pretty easy to calculate the navigation. So there's voice controls, as you can see, voice controls. Yeah, the route's calculated.
Turn left on 212th Street.
Yeah, it looks pretty.
Estimated time of arrival is 8:37 a.m.
Yeah, exactly. It looks a lot like a Garmin system. But personally, I'm actually impressed that Mercedes had the balls to build a car like this. Pretty much all of the parts, the ones that aren't snatched out of the E-Class or the C-Class's parts bin, pretty much everything is exactly what you'd expect out of a Mercedes. And ultimately, what people are paying for is that symbol right there. Now, some people don't like Mercedes, some people like BMW, and whatever. As far as I'm concerned, Cadillac's building better cars than BMW is right now. BMW, you have to spend top dollar. You don't get a V8 anymore, and you may not even have the best driver. The new CTS is killing BMWs around tracks. The new CTS V Sport is killing BMWs around tracks. So, if it's name equity that you're buying into, I personally believe Mercedes is a stronger name than BMW. Many of you may disagree with that, but as far as I'm concerned, especially after having driven this CLA, I'm impressed with what Mercedes has done, and I'm also impressed with the price point. And now, the only downside is when you see more and more of these cars on the block, it takes away the exoticness of, a Mercedes. But now, Mercedes is focused on volume. They're focused on selling enough cars where it actually makes sense to have a model in the first place. That is ultimately what you have to do to have a successful business. You have to focus on volume. Sometimes volume may come in place of quality, but one or the other has to be the focus. And as far as I'm concerned, they did a great job. The only downside was the eco button. The start and stop technology doesn't turn off and come on as smoothly as you'd expect. And I'm also sick and tired of car makers having these blank black buttons when there's a feature that you didn't get. As far as I'm concerned, the heating and the cooling system, this is heated seats, but there should be ventilated seats in this car. If the Hyundai Sonata 2.0 Turbo can pretty much come with everything this car comes with and still cost $10,000 less, a Mercedes, as far as I'm concerned, should come with those main features, the heated and cooled seats.
Time of arrival is 8:39 a.m.
Well, thank you, Mercedes. But that's my little follow-up review. This video may not get many views. It's not really a big deal to me, but I still love this car, and as far as I'm concerned, this is a good move by Mercedes to build a car like this. And a lot of people may disagree, but I don't really care.